on balls.
Football. Mike Makaab, how are you doing this morning?
Yes, Neil, I'm fine. I'm just a little bit tired. Yesterday was a massively long day for me.
Yes, of
I
course.
left Durban early in the morning, very early, and I think I closed my eyes last night close to midnight, so it was a crazy day.
So, Mike, was that entirely dealing with the Gordon Iggesson to Supersport story?
Yes.
Or yeah, that was it, yeah.
Yeah,
So
totally.
Yeah.
You know, and Neil, I'm so happy we can speak because I'm going to set the record straight. A lot of people have said that, well, when I was asked last week that the simple question that had Gordon signed or had he agreed to his terms and conditions as was reported, I said absolutely not, and that's the absolute truth. The negotiations started the day before yesterday, and in actual fact, the final negotiations were only done at midday yesterday.
Yeah.
Um,
We were all guessing,
obviously he was,
but we
yeah.
had nothing. There was nothing concrete going on.
No. And then, you know, the other thing, I read so many things in the media about Gordon signing until the end of the year and Ruud Krol taking over at the end of the season. It's officially signed a 2-year deal.
Yeah.
So, you know, all of the speculation, I honestly wonder where some of these guys get their information from.
Yeah.
Morning,
yeah.
Mike. It's Mark Fish. Always
Mark.
good to hear your voice, and I think
Thanks,
that's when you talk about, you know, the press leaking stories or telling stories. I think Comfort that calls you in the morning. I think he's one of them. He sits in the studio and thinks, "Let me make up a story." And I think it could have been Gordon Iggesson a couple of weeks ago. He thought he just started this rumor.
Mark, I'm not surprised because the bottom line is that I'm sure my phone is tapped,
I've been trying, Mike.
But I mean, I must say, when we're sitting here in the studio and Neil says to Comfort, okay, call Mike Makaab, or it's amazing what sitting down, dinner, two guys, candle, brings everyone together. It's beautiful, and I'm very happy for you guys.
It was only coffee.
But Gordon, I mean, are there any in Gordon's contract? Obviously, any expectations that have been put in there? You know, where he should end, or is it just 2-year deal and you obviously do as best as you can?
Not this season, but there are targets for the new season, which is understandable.
Yeah.
This season, there's no doubt in my mind, SuperSport would expect to finish in the top 8, irrespective of their poor start. They are a quality team, and I think Gordon acknowledges that. So he's going to have to turn things around quite quickly. In the new season, there are realistic targets. Nothing in terms of you have to win a trophy or you have to win the league or you have to qualify for Africa or the World Cup. No, nothing that crazy.
No, but if you say he's got a 2-year deal and next year there is expectations, is there a clause in where if he makes those expectations that this clause will kick in, saying that it'll get an added year or two, or is it just agreed?
No, it's agreed on it. We've agreed on a 2-year deal, and I think it's logical, and I've seen the way that SuperSport United operate as a football club. I think Gavin Hunt's contract never expired ever before he signed a new contract. So Gavin was successful, and therefore SuperSport rewarded him for that success.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way football clubs should be. You know, I don't believe a contract should bind any two parties together. I think it should just be a referral or a recordal, because the truth of the matter is if one party is unhappy with the other, you can be rest assured the other party is going to have a torrid time. So I've learned in this industry, you can sign a 5-year player deal, for example, and if the player is unhappy after 12 months, he won't be let free, but there's no doubt in my mind that the club would be looking to put him out on loan or looking to transfer him, etc. This is an unusual contract of employment between football clubs and coaches and players.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, we did discuss, before you came on, we discussed the strange story that appeared on the Kickoff website saying something about Ruud Krol arriving next year. We can definitely rule that one out. I think we can definitely say that there's 100% ruled out. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah.
And obviously the question that I ask you most days, and other people ask you most days, is I sat there on transfer deadline night as Danny Welbeck and Falcao went through and looked through the fine print for a certain Mr. Knowledge Masona.
Yeah.
He didn't seem to move at all from Hoffenheim. Is that true?
It is true. He'll be back training with the first team. I'll tell you that the absolute brutal truth of the whole thing was the fact that he was injured in his last couple of months here at Kaizer Chiefs. We all know that.
Yes.
He was treated. When he went back to Germany, Unfortunately, the injury was found to be a little bit more serious than we had envisaged.
Yeah.
So he went on an intensive 6-week rehab course, part of which was to go to Grenada and help him with his match fitness. By the time he got back from Grenada, there was effectively 2 weeks left of the transfer window.
Yeah.
I don't have to tell you that clubs worldwide aren't waiting for Knowledge Masona.
No.
So the last option that we had on the table, there was Genk that were interested, there was Club Brugge that were interested, Oostend, Jolly's team were interested.
Yes.
It was right up until the last seconds. All 3 Belgian clubs were interested. FC20 were the most serious of the 3. Went up there. They did a very quick assessment on him, like what they saw. They were going to do a deal for their striker to move to Hull City.
Right.
The deal was almost signed, sealed, and delivered when Hull broke the bank and signed a record signing.
Yeah, who was that? I read that.
I think a Chilean, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. I'm going to look that up in a second.
And so the FC20 striker remained at FC20, and the Knowledge Masona deal fell through. And that literally happened in the last 6 hours of the transfer window.
That's right, because Hull City
Yeah.
made that move. I remember seeing it at about 11 o'clock on Sky. Hull City record transfer. I'm just going to find that out for you. But the point is that Knowledge Masona, even if he doesn't make the Hoffenheim reserves or first team, can still go out on loan, can't he? Or not?
No, he can't.
He can't.
Go
Okay,
out on
so he
loan.
can't.
No.
Okay.
But, it's a blessing in disguise. To be honest with you, he's still a few weeks from anything close to his full fitness.
Okay.
So we're talking about maybe end of September, mid-October, really getting to full fitness. That means that there's another 2.5 months to transfer window. There is no doubt that Hoffenheim will want to put him in the showroom. I said to somebody the other day, they said, well, he's going to languish in the reserves. I said, I'm not too sure about that, because at the end of the day, if you buy a motor car and you're not happy with it and you take it to a dealer, they're not going to polish it up and stick it in the covered section at the back. They're going to put it in the showroom. And therefore, if Hoffenheim are smart, they're going to have to show what knowledge is all about. He did fantastically well at FC20. Unbelievably well.
Okay,
So
how long did he
there is-
spend at FC20? A couple of days or... Sorry?
3 days.
3 days at
3 days.
FC20. They liked
They did
him.
medicals. They did medicals. They did assessments. They loved him.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the other thing, it's amazing how football works. They played in the qualifying round to get into Europa. Qualifying for Europa meant a 3.5 million euro windfall for them.
Yes.
So even if they never sold the striker, they had extra money in the budget.
Yeah.
They were 0-0 away from home. At home, 1-0 up, and this team equalized in the last moments of the game. So they were
Jeez.
knocked out. So it all happened. It literally all happened within 48 hours, Neil.
Yeah.
And then it's obvious that it's going to be like this. The supporters and the fans and everybody look and they say, well, the bloody agents never did their jobs.
Yeah.
The truth of the matter is, we did everything physically possible to try and move him from Hoffenheim, and it never worked.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, none of us ever. I think the transfers that don't go through are the ones where we think, oh no, why didn't that happen? But like you say, I mean, you've just brilliantly described exactly why that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Last minute, everyone jumping around, and I just had that whole move up here. It was Chilean Hernandez, wasn't it? And Hernandez at the last minute signing that record deal. Abel Hernandez.
I think it was an hour before the window closed.
That's right. It was about, it was midnight here. It was 11 o'clock in England. And,
Correct.
And it was a record fee of 8 million.
Correct.
Pounds.
For Hull City.
At the very last minute, the whole signed. Otherwise, they would have gone for the FC20 striker, and Knowledge Masona might have gone there. And the deal was on the verge of being done. Just so we can explain to people, it's not like
Yeah, I know.
it's not like everyone's sitting around waiting. It's like you just can't quite
No.
get there sometimes. Yeah,
And our head of football in Europe, Pascalis Tenturis, was there, Neil,
got it.
for the 4 days with him, all the time.
Yeah.
So look, but you know what? These things happen for a good reason, and I think that Knowledge will have some breathing space to get back to full fitness. He's only 24 years old. He
Is
loves
that, Mike, is that his real age?
proper age, for the proper age.
That's right. I'm putting that in capital letters.
Say, at least I can make Mr. Mike Makaab smile.
So that's where we are, and I'm confident something will happen in January, no doubt. One way or the other. Back in the Hoffenheim mix up, because it's a new coach, and he doesn't even know who Knowledge Masona is, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Or he'll be moving somewhere else.
Yeah. Okay, that's what we want to hear. You've got Gordon Ingerson in place. I hope it works out for Gordon. I've got a very strong suspicion that it will. Supersport are probably, they're a lot better off than Morocco Swallows were when he went there. I mean, they were relegation fodder, didn't have much money, and he pulled together that squad with people like Chabango and Umvete, and really got them going, didn't it?
Resurrected.
I'm going to give you a crazy stat.
That's what I was hoping. Go on.
He's got 2 points from 5 games here to start with. He had 2 points from 16 to start with at Morocco Swallows. Yeah.
Right, 2 points from 5 at Supersport. He had 2 from 16 at Swallows.
Something like that.
And yet he turned Swallows around to make them title contenders, didn't he?
The second year, they almost won the title.
The second year, that's right.
Second year, they took it to the last day of the year. Yeah.
Right, so it's 2 points from 5 this time. Okay, I'm going to tweak that when we're off. Right, Mike, listen, thanks for talking to us. Get some sleep. I know that yesterday was a very busy day for you. And coffee again soon. I've got to come back to the coast. Cheers, mate.
Most definitely. And then I'll pull my guitar out and play a few songs for you. Mark knows a bit about it.
That's what we want. Great stuff, Mike. Thanks a million, mate.
Okay.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bollocks on Balls.
Thursday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m.
Balls.co.za.